So, I came here to study, and there's something else I want to talk to you guys. And this has been a huge conversation around the country. I want to talk to you guys about some of the problems facing education in South Africa and how those problems relate to my favorite comedian, Jacob Zuma. Now, for a long time, right, I wondered why he struggles with English and numbers. Then I realized, in this country, you guys have freedom of speech. Yeah, there's no better example of freedom of speech in this country than what Jacob does to the English language. Everything he does sends the nation into a shock of confusion. He's singing Shiniwam, Shiniwam. I mean, with 22 kids, if anything is clear, it is the fact that his machine does not fire blanks. Jacob Zuma reminds me of the fake sign language interpreted at Mandela's funeral. And, well, in fact, it sounds more like he's translating that guy to English. But that's Jacob. At the same time, I believe that the biggest insult to this country is the idea that someone who's never been to school wants a house worth 260 million, and we have to believe the same guy when he tells us education is the key. I was going to get a clap for that. Too many But that's the thing. I think as a country, we are concerned with education. And when I say we, I mean, us South Africans, even though I'm colored. As a country, we are concerned with education. And the Fees Must Fall campaign is proof of that. And for those of you who may not know, Fees Must Fall is basically a campaign which is being led by students to have fees reduced to one specific figure, specifically 765,000 million. Okay, listen properly. That's the Fees Must Fall campaign. Now, before this campaign started, right, fees was shooting up to 12% every year, which is unacceptable. I mean, the only acceptable explanation for an increase that high is if they were charging in zip dollars. Now, when Fees Must Fall started, right, there was information going around that the Minister of Education already had a report which had information that proved it's possible to provide free education. But he didn't want to give it to the public, he didn't want to release it, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's kind of like a Catholic priest withholding information that proves it's possible not to touch kids. See, I knew that joke was going to work since we have Muslims here. Any Muslims here? Any Muslims? Okay, thank you for coming. It's always a blast. And while we're on the subject of Muslims, right, and terrorism, did you guys hear that ISIS is coming to South Africa? Now, why would ISIS want to come to South Africa when we're already burning our own buses and buildings? It's ridiculous. At some point, we have to recognize the students as terrorists. But I was just thinking to myself, right? The point is, everybody, instead of focusing on all the craziness, we should be focusing on how to raise fees. Well, don't look at me, I'm from Zimbabwe. But I guess to summarize, the point I'm trying to make is, in 50 years' time, when they're still saying Rome was not built in a day, no one is going to say